Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone, and welcome to your number one source for Native American television news, Native News Today. I'm your host, Jason Salzman, joining you here from Muskogee Media Studios as we get ready for another 30 minutes of great Native American content, great Native American news happening out there, and we are ready to go. Speaking of, right off the top, want to get to some official business. The Muskogee Creek Nation, the fourth largest tribe in America, has elected a new principal chief. In January, James Floyd will take the office of principal chief, taking over from Principal Chief currently, George Tiger. Both men we will reach out to here on Native News Today in hopes of getting in studio talking about the new administration. Also, Principal Chief George Tiger talking about his last 4 years as Principal Chief. So, a lot of things happening around there, a lot of things happening here for us at Muskogee Media. We're going to take our first break. When we come back in, I'll be joined by Jessica McBride as we break down the new Freedom of Press bill here at Muskogee Creek Nation.
We believe if you teach a man to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. We believe that transitioning convicted citizens back into our communities enhances public safety. We believe that every citizen, even ex-prisoners, are important and are capable of change. We believe in reclaiming our citizens and investing them back into a culture that embraces healing and restoration.
We believe
in reintegration.
It's more than just an associate degree. It's a life-changing experience.
You'll see a lot of cultural features here on the campus. You'll see a symbol of the mound, which goes back to the history of Muskogee people as being in that Mississippian time period, that mound building society. That really welcomes our students whenever they first get here.
The college in itself is beyond the building, is the people.
They're passionate, very passionate about what they teach, and it shows whenever they're teaching.
The instructors and the administration, they really believe in their students here.
After a couple classes, I began to notice that it kind of felt as if I were returning back to something that has been lost for like a long time. As I learned more about the history of my people, to discover that there were very many great people that did a lot of good things for their people, for their nations, and that those people were American Indian and Native American, it kind of brings out a sense of pride that was not really there before.
There is a future for our people.
And welcome back to Native News Today. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. And as I said before, we have a special guest in studio now. She's getting kind of used to joining me here in the hot seat. And this is Miss Jessica McBride here at Muskogee Media. She is our media coordinator. Jessica, thanks so much for being with us today as we break down this new Freedom of the Press bill.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Okay, Jessica, where we want to start is basically the reasoning that this bill was brought forth to the legislative body. So as we break it down and really show it to the citizens, let's start there.
So there's a couple of things that's outlined in the law. In Section 1 of the law, it says that all Muskogee Creek citizens should be allowed to have access to information regarding Muskogee Creek Nation activities and news. There is a need to create an independent media of the nation to have news and activities reported objectively without interference or bias. The nation's media should be overseen by an editorial board, and the board and media shall have protections permitting them to report news and activities without interference or bias. That's what the law outlines.
Okay, looking at the structure of Muskogee Media now under this bill, we're definitely got to start at the top with the editorial board that it establishes. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, there's 3 members of the editorial board. One is appointed by the National Council, one by the principal chief, and then one by Muskogee Media itself. There's different requirements for the board as far as 2 need to be journalists, One is an attorney and 2 of them Muskogee Creek citizens. The law gets into more detail, though, than that.
Right. I think when you look at the qualifications, there may be school of thought thinking they all need to be Creek citizens. But I think in this case, and really my personal belief is that when you're looking at this, I almost want to have somebody in there that's almost doesn't have a dog in the fight. They don't know everybody here. They don't know the politics. They don't know what's going on. If you look at a college football national championship game, that's the big thing right now is college football. If you look at a national championship game and it's between, say, Alabama and Ohio State, they have an officiating crew that'll come in from the Big 12, not either conference, the SEC or the Big 10. They do that so that there is no way of knowing that there's going to be any bias in the decisions that are made. This board is much like a refereeing crew. They are to see what is on the surface, make the decisions from there. So I think if you look at those qualifications, there may be people out there who go, some of these people aren't Creek. I think if you look there, if we have one that isn't, that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I think it can be helpful in these situations. So we do have 2 board members that have been confirmed, though.
Yes, we do. The National Council has nominated Rebecca Lansbury as their nomination, and then we've nominated Travis Snell, who's the assistant editor at the Cherokee Phoenix for the Cherokee Nation.
And let's talk about these board members for just a moment. The National Council's nomination, Rebecca Lansbury, she herself, the youngest editor in the history of our publication, the Muskogee Nation News. She is currently the interim director of the Native American Journalists Association. She's a graduate of the University of Oklahoma's Gaylord College of Journalism. So lots of experience there, and as a Muskogee citizen too. So really lots of experience there for her, has knowledge of the way things work here at the tribe in the media department and what the inherent challenges are there. So I think it's a great nomination there. And also we bring in Travis Snell, and that's where we have our non-Creek member. He is of the Cherokee Nation for many years, worked at the Cherokee Phoenix, done a great job there. He is a Richard LaCourse Award winner from the Native American Journalists Association for investigative journalism. So I think Travis has been in that climate to where you're going to have to make those decisions. Sometimes you're going to be in the sticky situations to where the citizens need to know something that's going to be a little uncomfortable for certain parties or one or the other. So I love the fact that we get a little bit of knowledge from each of them in their respective fields, bringing it to the board. I mean, you probably agree and see that from both of them
I
as
agree
well.
too. I think it's important to note also that there's very few tribes that actually have an independent press, and the Cherokee Nation is one of them. And so Travis brings some experience, not only from the tribal press, but from an independent tribal press as well.
Absolutely. And you look at the structure too, people wondering, what's this going to cover? Is it going to be just the TV show, just the radio? No, this is the TV show, the radio show, Muskogee Radio, the Muskogee Nation News, of course, our official publication. Also, it includes the graphic design and printing department, which do a lot of work here for the tribe and different things like that. Not necessarily covering that journalism feel, but definitely a part of the department. And then also our web content, things like that. So that's basically the structure of it all. I think I covered it, right? I mean,
the only thing that we need to touch on too is what will kind of happen from now is the board will search for a manager. That position is currently vacant as a full position, and so they'll select a manager to kind of oversee the daily operations and things like that go on here at Muskogee Media.
Jessica, specifically with the manager, I think it's important to note too that there will be no political influence on that manager to dictate what kind of coverage comes out of the department. I think that's important to note to the citizens. Also, the bill specifically states in a couple of instances about political influence. Let's break down what it says there.
Well, the first part of the bill actually says that all news reported by Muskogee Media shall be independent without undue influence of any political interest or interference. Further on, it kind of explains about the manager and the staff, and it says that they can't be directly or indirectly involved in political campaigning or a political organization. And that really covers any branch of the Creek Nation government.
It's basically a way to let the citizens know that Muskogee Media, as far as in their coverage, is all on the up and up. It kind of helps us explain our position. I mean, that's the way I interpret it.
Right, and no influence from whether it's the executive branch, the legislative branch. We're not supposed to be involved in any of that. We're to report fair and balanced.
Jessica, another part of this bill that I think we need to discuss and go over is the SHIELD Act, and specifically how it protects sources that we use in our stories and our coverage.
Well, we can keep our sources anonymous, and we don't have to turn those over to anyone. And it outlines that in the law. It gives protection for journalistic sources and information from disclosure in any Muskogee Creek Nation court proceeding. The only exception is if the court can't get the information from anywhere else, then they'll actually have a trial to decide whether or not we have to give up our sources and our information.
And I think the good thing too is we won't even need sources once we get a FOIA in place,
Right.
the Freedom of Information Act, which needs to follow with this bill, which will have us give us access to records that we would gather, be able to present, because as I said again, we're not going on hearsay, we're not going on rumors, anything like that. Anything that we've covered in the past, anything that we will cover in the future is going to have documentation, proof, and provided by those sources. But a FOIA really needs to come next.
Right, and that what the FOIA would allow us to do is request documents from the department so that we can document what we're hearing from our sources.
Okay, Jessica, now we've broken down the bill. It is signed, sealed, delivered. It is in effect, making us a statutory executive independent agency. Now, this kind of puts us on par with some of the other departments, some of the other agencies out there too.
Right, it makes us kind of like Light Horse or the Tax Commission or MNBE, and that's kind of comparatively what entity we are.
Right, and I think we're at a point where we need to go one step further, and that is to ironclad this bill. A lot of people out there say this was proposed by the council, this bill marries you all to the council. I think we get rid of that if we take this to the citizens, and one way to do that basically is we need an amendment to the Constitution making us an independent constitutional body. There's two ways to do that. There's the long route. The Muskogee Creek Nation National Council can propose an amendment that will have to be signed by the chief and then goes through that way. The quicker route, and there's been a lot of talk about this amongst the citizens here recently, is the Article 6, Section 8. And that is to say a petition circulated that needs 8% of the last general election's registered voters' signatures to then go to the council. The principal chief would then call a special general election within 90 days, I believe, where the citizens themselves have a say that this bill is in place, this bill is ironclad, it's not connected to the executive, legislative at all. The citizens wanted it, the citizens voted on it, and those are the two ways to make us a constitutional body. So that's where we're at really with the bill, what's going on with all of that. So hopefully you all will stay tuned with us here on Native News Today as we continue to break down some of the things, some of the newness, as far as we're getting used to it, just like all the citizens as well. So Jessica, thank you so much for being with us today. You can get out of the hot seat and now you can breathe. I know we covered a lot of stuff, but thanks for hanging in there and breaking it down with me today.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, let everybody process this. Want to get all the information out to the citizens. That's why we're very in-depth and lengthy with some of our conversations regarding these things, but definitely want you to be completely informed of what's going on, what's happening in the legislative process here with our department and really all over the tribe. So let's take a quick break and come back. We'll have the rest of Native News Today.
Looking for your next 18-hole adventure? Then take a look at Fountainhead Creek Golf Club. Nestled in the beautiful confines of Lake Eufaula State Park, large sloping greens and well-placed bunkers characterize the Muskogee Creek Nation's Floyd Farley designed course and offers a fine test of skill for any golfer. Stay up on all the latest gear and equipment with a visit to our pro shop. Have lunch at the Turn at the Clubhouse Grill. We're waiting to accommodate you at Fountainhead Creek. Give us a call at 918-689-3209 or visit fountainheadgolf.com to book your next round. Fountainhead Creek Golf Club, close to home, far from ordinary.
I think creatively I was just into drawing for a long time, ever since I was a kid. It wasn't until maybe around late 2007, 2008 that I became aware of the graffiti scene. It changed everything for me. You don't even really understand in the beginning what kind of journey it's going to take you on, but I think that in order to become great at what you do, it really boils down to how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your own artistic creativity and your own expression. I think it comes from a belief in oneself and pushing yourself to the limits as far as you can take it.
And welcome back to Native News Today, and thanks again to Jessica McBride for coming in studio. Want to remind you folks out there, stay with us here on Native News Today, CW19 each Saturday for continuing coverage on our bill and the ongoing happenings that are around surrounding that bill and what's going to be coming out. We will keep you advised. Also, stay up with our YouTube channel as well. Moving right along, let's get back to our regular coverage here on Native News Today. We recently went to the 13th annual Pink Party at the Muskogee Creek Nation, recognizing breast cancer awareness, and that's one of the things that has been a very big job of our Department of Health, is to basically put new programs in place, facilities in place, combating breast cancer and how much it's affected our citizens of the Muskogee Creek Nation. And the Pink Party around here is a big calendar event each year. We were so glad to go over to the Muskogee Dome as so many people were gathered for this year's Pink Party.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in February 24th, 2012. It was HER2 breast cancer, stage 3. I had to start chemo. I did 4.5 months of chemo. I did 6 weeks of radiation, and just a 17-month long ordeal. Had a couple of different surgeries. But anyway, I just fought through it and did everything they told me to do, and I'm a survivor. I am very excited about this every year. Whenever I went through my breast cancer, Creek Nation was very, very good to me. Creek Nation is big on making awareness of breast cancer, not just one time a year, but throughout the year. We have this every single year. We tell people about it in our clinics. We go out, we tell people, people come to it, women gather together. You wouldn't believe how many friendships are made through having this every year through Creek Nation. Creek Nation Health Centers are very, very outgoing as far as getting women their mammograms, self-checks, teaching women the importance of checking themselves, getting their mammograms, getting their checkups. So it's a good thing. Creek Nation is very active.
Thank you we're so grateful that Creek Nation has this every year. We're so grateful for the survivors that are here, and we're so grateful for the camaraderie that comes with this event. October, of course, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and so we're just wanting people to become informed with the awareness of the campaign. Well, we know with the national statistics that on average 1 in 8 women can develop breast cancer in their lifetime. So we would like for women and their men as well and their partners in their life, for them to become informed on how to prevent and early detection with breast cancer. And so with Creek Nation, we have the ability at our facilities to see the providers in that case. So with each outlying facility, we have the capability to see the women, and usually that's on their annual visit once a year. And so we're able to visit with them with their breast cancer family history, as well as their own breast cancer awareness with the self-breasting exams that they're doing themselves. And we talk a little bit about that. And then we have the capability to do the mammography at the Coweta Indian Health Facility, Okmulgee, as well as Okemah, at the Okemah facility. Well, with breast cancer, and as well as with other diagnoses that are with a chronic illness, it affects mind, body, and spirit, as well as other family members. So what we want people to be aware of is, it's not just a disease, it affects the whole family, as well as the woman or man at that time, of course, as well. And so we want that to become well known and to offer support in those cases.
And our thanks once again to all the great people there at the Muskogee Creek Nation Division of Health. What a great day that was, hearing from breast cancer survivor herself, First Lady Frances Tiger, giving her testimonial. Lots of people talking. A very emotional day, but a wonderful day as well for the Muskogee Creek Nation. Moving right along to another wonderful day each year at the Muskogee Creek Nation, the Council Oak Ceremony, honoring our beginnings here in the state of Oklahoma, right there as we developed the Lutjoboga people of the Muskogee Creek Nation, developing Tulseytown, as it was known then, now the city of Tulsa. A lot of people maybe in Tulsa don't realize Muskogee Creek Nation put down roots right there, started the city of Tulsa at that fantastic oak. It still stands. The Muskogee Creek Nation still stands. And to mark both of those things still standing, each year we meet at the Council Oak Park, which was basically made into a official park of the city of Tulsa not long ago. But we meet there at Council Oak Park, traditional leaders, everybody there to pay respect and homage to our history.
Well, it's always a special day whenever you can pay homage to those that have gone on before us, and also to recognize that they set the foundation of who we are as Muskogee Creek people in today's times, and I just think it's a great day for us. You know, it's really a special place for me because when we actually in the mid 80s started doing this, we knew that we had to recognize those that, you know, certainly, as I said earlier, allows for us to be who we are today as Muskogee Creek Nation. I worked for Chief Cox when we did this. Of course, later on, Chief Fife and Chief Beaver and Chief Ellis. So it's kind of gone full circle. To be able to do some of this as an employee and now to be head of the fourth largest nation in the country, tribal nation, it just kind of is a special place in my heart for me to be able to be part of this.
All these events take time to plan, of course, and for us to actually get this going, we have to make so many communications with the Micos and the Tulsa Indian community. You know, they hosted the evening dinner and stomp dance, so for us to actually get it going while the festival's going, employee appreciation, you know, we had movies in the Dome and all these different events that we have, especially the gala takes a majority of the time, but actually starting the event and then going throughout the whole thing without any hiccups is what we always worry about, but it went great today, and at the end we feel great. And I mean, it's so amazing to actually be able to plan this for the actual tribe and then pay respect to the Council Oak ceremony. You know, we put the program out, we put the flyers and everything, and the great thing with the social media is being a great tool for us to communicate with everybody. You know, today it's gloomy a little bit, but a little cool, but we have tents ready to go in case inclement weather came about. We were able to, if we had to, we would have been able to set up tents and still continue the ceremony, even though it would be raining. Me, of course, I grew up in church, so I don't hardly participate in any ceremonial ground type things, but it's great to see that tradition still going on. And, you know, even at the festival, when some of them show up and we actually have the exhibit stomp dance, it's always great to just see the people participate and get educated about that, and to really see that those ceremonial type events still go on, you know, even as they were originated in Alabama and Georgia, are still here today and here strong, you know, hence the Council Oak ceremony.
Okay, that'll wrap up another episode of Native News Today. We certainly hope that you've enjoyed taking a look back at the Muskogee Creek Nation's 13th annual Pink Party. Big event there. Also taking a look back at this year's Council Oak ceremony as we pay homage to our traditional people, our Mikos, the grounds that are still alive, active, the fires burning there today still. It's a great way to pay tribute to them and to honor them and that part of our culture that's so very vibrant and exists in existence today. So lots of great things there. Also want to thank one more time Jessica McBride stopping in. You know, with legislation sometimes you just got to break things down, go section by section, laying everything out and to where people can decide and look for themselves and be informed. That's what we're all about here at Muskogee Media, being informed, the citizens knowing what's going on, and so that's what we're going to strive to do our best with here in the coming weeks. Also in the coming weeks on the show, you can expect us to sit down with our board, talking about bringing on the editorial board at Muskogee Media, talking about their responsibilities, the honor that it is for them to be named, to be able to help out with the decisions that we're making on a day-to-day basis and be that buffer for us. Also, as I said earlier, we'll reach out to James Floyd, the principal chief-elect, and George Tiger, our current principal chief, to get some thoughts on Mr. Floyd's coming administration and Mr. Tiger's administration over the last 4 years here at Muskogee Creek Nation. We know that you want to hear from both of those men, so we'll be working to get that with you as well. Also, I want to just mention that here on the television show, if you're watching us on CW 1219, we really appreciate our TV watchers. We'd love that you guys have hung with us for 8-9 years now. It's been a loyal audience really here on CW. We have a time constraints, of course, as any TV show would, 28 minutes. So we got 28 minutes to fill each week. Sometimes you can't really give proper I guess you could say you can't give proper time to some of the issues that we need to cover. So with that being said, I want to push a lot of you towards the internet and our YouTube channel. We've gotten a ton of response, a lot of people watching us online at our YouTube channel. It's very simple. Go to youtube.com. In your search bar, just search in Native News Today, search in Muskogee Media, right here, Native News Today, Muskogee Media. You can search in either one. It'll take you to our channel. What you're going to get on our channel is not only a new episode each week that airs here on TV, but you're going to get productions that we do, special reports, things in addition to the television show that we can't show you here on the TV because I said of time restraints. So we're going to get a lot more in-depth coverage on there. You're going to get a lot more access to the information on our YouTube channel as we get things set in place for Muskogee Media going forward. And we'll be doing a lot of work hand in hand with our reporters at the Muskogee Nation News as well. So be looking for that on our YouTube channel. As always, stay up with us on social media, Facebook, Twitter. We love to see you on there and interact with you on there as well. For Jared Moore, Devaney Luxinger, Jason Salzman, all of the good people here at Muskogee Media, we'll see you next week.